So few people will be applying coming from the background like become computers and they want to go for the data analytics.
Correct.
So it is not possible. UK, when we want to show the funds, you can depend directly on a loan. You need not to show the assets and everything. UK is much easier comparatively with other countries.
You don't need to show that much assets.
Recently, in the sense, yesterday itself, I got a case actually regarding the UK actually.
Mm-hmm.
So they have been applied for the Canadian visit visa. So they got rejected. And they applied for the UK again. Again, they got rejected. And this is the third time they applied for the skilled worker visa, not for the visit visa for the UK. So they have mentioned that there is no visa rejections. Even though they got a UK rejection, also they have mentioned no visa rejections. So straightforward, they have been mentioned that they have rejected and they have been mentioned for 10 years you cannot apply for the visa for the UK again. After the pandemic, there are a lot of changes have been done, and entering into the other country, the gateway of entering into the other country has made difficult actually. And so some changes has been helpful to the Indians even actually.
इंडिया में क्या है मतलब put it on your horse planners 10, 12 bachelor's master's work.
ट्यूशन फीस और जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज में कनेक्शन नहीं होता है. ट्यूशन फीस और स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ लिविंग में कनेक्शन होता है.
स्कॉलरशिप कितनी बढ़ रही है पूछो मत.
When it comes to study abroad, a lot of people are confused about which colleges to pick, which universities to go to, which countries to go to. But the thing that they struggle with the most is the study visas and the immigration part of it. Now, what if there was an expert who could tell us everything about it? Welcome to another episode of Beyond Borders with Handa, and we have an expert on this particular topic with us. We have Mr. Vaidya, who has been an immigration expert and counselor to students who are planning to go abroad for the last 15 years. He is currently the head of counselor and a manager at Volent Overseas.
Yes.
Welcome, sir. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ravi. Thank you, viewers.
So, sir, my first question, very basic question, which is what a lot of people are when they are planning to study abroad. They don't really know about it. A is what exactly is a student visa, and are there different types of it?
Yes, coming to the student visa, actually, what a student visa is, I can say it is a golden ticket to the student, each and every student who wants to move to abroad. It allows you to enter into the country for study purpose. So it is, I can say that it is a document, legal document, which allows you to enter into the country for the study purpose and live and earn while studying. And coming to the student visas, there are different types of visas actually.
Okay.
So where we can say for example, USA, we have F1 visa. F1 visa is nothing but a student visa, what we call. The major people will be applying for this F1 visa from other nations. So 85% of the people in USA applies for this visa. 85% of people from the other nations apply for this visa, where they have easy access to enter into the country and study and settle over there.
Okay.
And other visa is the M1 visa. One, it is for the which is used for the occasional studies, like what we can say, technical training and everything.
So M1 is also for US.
M1 is also for US.
Okay.
And at the same time, we have the exchange visa. So you might be heard about the exchange visa. Few people might be heard about the exchange visa, but the J1 visa, which is called the exchange visa. So this allows you to enter into the country for the purpose of to diversify with the cultural and educational programs and everything in an exchange program. I can say that educational exchange.
Understood.
Yeah.
So these are multiple types of visas that are there in the US. F1,
M1,
M1,
J1.
J1.
Yeah.
And
so this comes under the category of a student visa.
Okay.
So there are different kinds of visas like L1, H1, H4. So those are for the employment related.
Those are the employment.
Yeah.
We'll be primarily focusing on the student one because study abroad is what we are essentially targeting with this. So this is for the US, which has these three types.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit more about, let's say, some of the other countries and the other types which exist in any of them?
Yeah, I can say that when we speak about the USA, these are the three types. And when we speak about the UK, there is a graduate route visa. So which allows student to enter into the country and they can work they can study for the 2 years and they will get a post-study or commit for another 2 years.
So this visa is only available to the graduates who are going there for post-graduation.
Exactly. Post-graduation, not only for the post-graduation, so who wants to apply for the bachelor's also, they can enter on the student visa over there. So coming to the Australia, so we call it as a subclass 500 actually, rather than they call with the visa subclass 500.
Subclass 500.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is nothing but a student visa again. So they have named actually in the Australia there are different subclasses actually for each and every visa category. They have been named particularly unique style like subclass 500 for the student visa, and at the same time if you are applying for the PR it is a subclass 190. So there are different subclasses actually. When we speak about the student visa particularly, it is subclass 500, and even student dependent also it is subclass 500.
Understood. And is there some sort of a eligibility criteria which is required for these visas?
Yes, definitely. There is eligibility criteria. So the most common eligibility criteria where each and every country looks when you are applying for the student visa is their academics.
Okay.
So we need to have the strong academics background, and at the same time we need to be very familiar with the course and with the university. Actually, when you are choosing the university, what kind of a university you are selecting, which type of university you are selecting, and the ranking of the university, and at the same time the course what you are selecting. So few people will be applying like coming from the background like become computers and they want to go for the data analytics.
Correct.
So it is not possible. Few of the universities might be accepting your education since it is related to the computers. But after landing over there, again completing the data analytics and everything, it will be a big difficult to the student.
Correct. If they are going there, they need to study and pass that.
Exactly.
And if you do not have the background, it would be very, very difficult. So that I agree. So they check your educational
background, and they will check with your financial documentations and everything.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what sort of financial documentation?
Yeah, perfect. So it's a good question actually. Coming to the financial documentation, so like different country has a different scrutinizing in the financial documentation and everything, type of scrutinizing in financial documentation and everything. So coming to the USA, so what they will ask, so they will check whether you have the assets, particularly whether you are capable enough to send your son or your student to USA where he is not depending on the others. After coming to the USA, he should not depend on the others and he should not be trying for the work or anything. So his main focus should be on a study. So that is the reason what they will check your assets. They will check with your assets whether you are capable enough to provide a support to the student or not. And they will check with financial documentation, what I can say, like how much bank balance you are maintaining and whether you are moving on an educational loan or not. So if you are moving on an educational loan, what kind of a loan you are applying for. So all these things they will consider and they'll scrutinize the visas and everything.
So let's just focus on US for the time being. When we talk about assets, the student is not going to have any assets.
Exactly.
Probably they will have to look at the parent or the legal guardian.
Exactly.
Now, as a parent, suppose I have real estate.
Okay.
But there is no value of, how can you say that this house is valued at 1 crore or 30 lakhs and all of
Yes.
So just saying that I have house or land, is that enough? Or I need that amount in my saving bank account statement, or I have, let's say, some mutual funds, for example.
So when we speak about assets, each and everything will come under the asset. Even if you have a small land also, it will come under the asset. But so here what they will check actually, so if it is an asset which belongs to you, but at the same time, when you are sending a student, you should be capable enough. It can be converted into liquid state very easily. So when we speak about the shares can be converted into liquid state, and if you have a FDs or anything, it can be converted into liquid state. Coming to the property, so it is a support actually, where you immediately cannot convert it to the liquid state unless until you sell it and you take some money from the person, and then it can be a liquid state, right? So that is the reason actually what they will check. They will check so what are the financial documentation you are providing as a support. Either it might be education loan, as I discussed earlier. So if you are acquiring an education loan, what is the amount you are acquiring as a loan and what is the amount you are able to show in a liquid. Then again, they will come to this point. So whether you have a lands or not, they will check with assets. But it is useful even in such situations where a student not able to what I say, if he met with any of the medical conditions or anything. So, however, we are applying for the medical insurance, but again, they will cross-check whether the parent is capable enough to support the
Take
study.
care of the problems.
Yeah.
Okay. So, it's not just how much you have in your saving bank account or bank account statement. They will check your mutual funds, your FDs, your shares, your real estate. They will look at everything before deciding.
Oh, yes.
And about the loan part that we talked about. So, what would be the typical fee of a master's program in the US?
So, in the master's program for the US, actually, as we discussed, actually, there will be different universities and different colleges within the US.
True.
They have their
Average number.
different things. The average fee will be like, if you're moving for the MBA, so it starts from $25,000
per semester.
Not for the semester, it might be for a year, what I'm telling you. Actually, as a least we can consider $25,000. And highest we can consider near level $60,000 per year even.
Okay. Let's consider the entire 2-year MBA program. And just so that calculations are easier, let's say a 2-year MBA program will cost you $100,000.
Okay.
Just for calculation purposes. Now, in this $100,000, suppose I have assets worth, is there a limit to which I can take the loan part and the rest has to be shown by assets? Or I can say I have $80,000 in assets, 20,000 loans, or I have to show $5,000 assets and 95,000 loans. I can do anything that I want, or are there any?
Great question. Actually, most of the people will be confused over here. Actually, but to make it clear, what I say actually, when you are moving to the USA, particularly, you need to pay the tuition fees. You need to show about your living expenses and everything. So that should be completely in liquid state. So as you discussed, actually, has your question right now, whether it is your query about whether I can show 80% as assets and 20% as liquid state, it is not possible.
Okay.
So you need to take a loan. If you do not have money, if you are eligible for the loan, you need to take a loan. So the loans are different types. Like you can go with the collateral loan or non-collateral loan. Right. So nowadays, students are getting very easily these loans, and most of the loan partners are providing the loans very easily based on their background, based on their academic qualifications and academic standards and everything.
That's what we at Gyandhan have been working towards.
Perfect. Yeah. So they can borrow the loan and they can show their liquid funds, what they have holding, like minimum at least $20,000 or $40,000, whatever they are holding. They can show as funds in the savings, and rest they can show as assets.
Understood. So whatever expenses are required, that much you should have in liquid assets, and the rest could be the other assets and stuff. Fair. And when, let's say this is essentially for the US, is it any different for, let's say, if we are going to UK or if we are going to Australia, do things change?
Yeah, absolutely. There are a lot of difference actually when we speak about the country to country. So
let's talk about UK.
As we discussed regarding the USA, I have been clearly explaining about the USA, what are the conditions and everything. When we speak about the UK, I can say actually, so it is not that easy. It is the toughest, but comparatively with other countries, UK, we have legitimate actually. What I can say that UK, when we want to show the funds, you can depend directly on a loan. You need not to show the assets and everything.
Also, UK will say no need for assets. If you get 100% loan, 100% loan is fine.
Yeah, that is what actually. So you can show the loan letter, but they're not accepting nowadays. Earlier they used to accept the non-banking finances and everything, but nowadays they are not accepting with the non-banking finances. Either you can go with the international banking or the national banking. If banks are supporting you with the loan, like with your tuition fees, living expenses, and flight tickets extra, so you can directly show that you are holding a funds in the loan, and you can show the loan letter and you can move. So coming to the UK, so when we got an offer letter, the condition will be mentioned in the offer letter that you need to pay a deposit fee for your placement and everything. Because they are also worried actually when I provide you the direct unconditional offer. So you might opt my university or not, right? So what I see actually when I have a lot of people applying for my university, I can directly share with the unconditional offer. So to scrutinize this actually, they are asking you to pay at least a minimal amount like £1,000 or £2,000 out of your £20,000 fees as a placement.
Blocking the seat.
Yeah, blocking the seat. Where a student will stick to that particular university. So when we compare with the USA and the UK, USA after landing over there, people might be changing the universities and everything. But here UK, so what they'll do, they ask you to pay the placement fee first, and then they'll conduct the interview and everything. and they'll ask you to pay the 50% of the fee.
Okay.
So here, students, what they can do, initial amount they need to arrange from the inside, like a 1,000 pounds or the 2,000 pounds, which are the conditions where you need to meet with the conditions. So later, rest of the amount you can borrow it from the loan and you can pay it from the loan directly. So that is the reason why I say UK is much easier comparatively with other countries.
You don't need to show that much
Yes.
assets, because I believe there will be a lot of, yes, there are a lot of students who go abroad who come from very affluent backgrounds. But on the other hand, there are other students also who come from slightly middle class backgrounds, and
Yes.
$100,000 is
So,
85, 90 lakhs.
So it is an average. We are selecting like $100,000, but there are universities who charge only $10,000 for one particular year. So people might be choosing $10,000. But so when we speak about the visa acceptance, so the visa officer will check which universities he has been applied, why he has been applied for that particular university, what is the course he is applying, what is his financial background and everything. Then they will provide you the visa acceptance or not. It depends.
So talking about this visa acceptance bit, you have been doing this for a very, very long time. I'm sure you would have seen multiple students
Yes.
get rejected as well in visas.
Yes.
Can you tell me some of the common mistakes that they have made because of which they get rejected?
So I can say the most common mistakes, and it rather than we say it is a common mistake actually, most of the people are acting smartly, knowing also they are selecting the different courses actually. So as we discussed,
Can you explain a little bit about different courses?
yeah, I mean to say that as we discussed earlier at the beginning of this interview, actually, and not so discussion, what I can say actually, so if I'm a student, I have completed EEE in my BTech.
Okay.
So here in India, we can go for any certification courses and we can go for the IT job at least for 1 year,
Yes.
right? So later I'm trying to go for the artificial intelligence course in USA. But VO officer will be considering that this guy who applied for the EEE, he do not know any knowledge about the computers. Why? Because it is not involved. The computer is not involved into the EEE. So right now he is applying for aiming for the artificial intelligence without knowledge and everything. So at the visa interview, they will ask you to check. Actually, they directly not deny your visa application. They will check whether you know the coding and everything.
Okay, but let's say I studied in EEE.
Yeah.
After that, I did some particular course in computer science.
Yes.
And after that, I worked for 2 years or 3 years in a tech company.
Yes.
Would that be enough?
So that would be enough actually. That is what I'm communicating to you, that so Vivo will be checking with you that whether you have a coding knowledge. If you are applying for the data analytics, they will check with you whether you have a coding knowledge, what set of coding you have, knowledge you have. So if you are unable to show the coding and if you are unable to explain, if you are unable to convince the viewer, then your visa might reject actually. So when we speak about the common mistakes actually, so I can say that proper selection of university, proper selection of course, and proper preparation before going for the interview.
What sort of preparation?
So you need to be ready. Each and every VO is not able to. You need to be set your mind like that. Actually, I am trying to reach to the VO and I am explaining the VO and convincing the VO. But we need to think in our mind that VO will not accept my answers. Okay. So you need to be provide the best what you can convince. So for that, actually, you need to have a lot of practice, lot of preparation before going for the interview.
So do you suggest that if I'm a student who is planning to apply abroad, and I should do some sort of mock interviews with a visa officer or something like that?
Not with the visa officer, actually.
Not with the, but I should do some mock interviews where someone pretends to be a...
It is mandatory that you need to have the mock interview. Why? Because you are moving for the first time. You do not know what is the question they are shooting you, right? So better you attend the mock interviews, looking into the YouTube channels and everything. So we from the Oland overseas, actually, what we'll do, we have certain pattern. We pick the students 6 weeks before to the interview date.
Okay.
And we conduct a mock to the students on a daily basis, twice or it is weekly, 5 times or weekly, 4 times like that.
What I have seen happen, I used to teach math for MBA entrance exams.
Yes.
And what I realized is that people first try on their own, they fail. Then they come to the teacher and the coaches to learn. So are there any examples where this happened that a person, his profile is not going to change, but his visa got rejected first, came to you, did some training, and then he was able to clear the visa interview the next time?
Yes, there are a lot actually. I mean to say that I'll give you one example. So we have a couple of students, those who are the friends, like a couple with different genders actually. So they want to move for the same university, but they have the different program studies in bachelor's, and they have the different experience. Let us say if they have the experience, they have the different experience. So they have different percentages even in education. So they want to apply for the same university. So in those, one got selected and one not. So you may ask who did not got selected actually. The person who is excellent, he not got selected.
A person with higher marks.
Yeah, person with the higher marks, person who was excellent in communication and everything, he's not got selected. But the person who is poor, actually, he got selected. Why? Because, I mean to say that the person who got a higher marks, so he is thinking that he can go to this particular university. His friend is applying for a particular university, he may enter into that particular university since he is holding higher marks.
Correct.
But they check actually, so they will check this university is not suitable for this person.
Oh, okay. So they try to do the matching of caliber with the university.
Yes. UK is much easier comparatively with other countries.
You don't need to show that much asset.
We'll be intimating them that, so don't think that you want to go for that particular university. Rather than in particular area, we can sort out with the other universities and we can guide you. So later happened the same thing actually. After rejecting the visa, again we have been guided with the same area actually, with a different university, and he got selected for the second time with a lot of preparation.
Understood. So for the visa part, so one is the financial aspect that is there. The second is the preparation aspect and mock interviews and all of that. I know for college applications, the statement of purpose plays a very, very important role.
Yes.
How much of a role does it play when it comes to visa application?
So statement of purpose plays a vital role in each and every country actually, I can say. So when you speak about the USA particularly, so it is very, very important where you need to provide the statement of purpose, which should be very clear with your intentions and everything. So to get an admission into the USA colleges and everything. But when we speak about the Canada, so we do not require the statement of purpose for the admission purpose. To getting into the university, to get an admission of the university, we do not require the statement of purpose. But it is very, very important that when we apply for the visa.
Okay, so in US, it's very important for the university, and in Canada, it is very important for the visa.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about Canada then. If I am planning to apply, what would be a good statement of purpose, or what all things it should contain so that it increases my chances of getting a Canadian visa?
Yes. So coming to the Canadian visa, a good statement of purpose. Why I'm saying the statement of purpose is very important. So here coming to the statement of purpose, so they are not conducting any interview to get you the visa, student visa. So there is no interview.
No visa officer is there.
Yeah, no visa officer is there, nothing. You are not interacting to them. So that is the reason what they'll check. They'll check your intention to move to Canada. So where you are putting your intention and everything, so you'll be putting it into the SOP itself only, statement of purpose. So when you speak about the statement of purpose, you need to start with your name and everything, actually, your background and your qualifications. At the same time, what is your highest qualification, what percentage you acquired, and what you have learned majorly. So when you speak about the intermediate, in intermediate, what are the subjects you have been concentrated, what you have learned over there. When you speak about the bachelor's, what you have learned the skills in the bachelor's, how you are implementing them, right? So how it is related to the master's which you are applying right now. And at the same time, after completing the master's, how it is helpful to you, to your country when you are coming back and searching for a job in your country. So
but why would I want? A lot of people who are going are not going to come back. They are going to go there and build a career there and build a life there.
Yeah, good question again. So when you speak about this, actually, particularly, so we show that our intention is to stay back over there and settle over there. Definitely, we will be rejecting your visa. Why? Because this guy will not move back again. His statement is coming for the purpose of study. So you should be very polite and very strong that you are going for the study purpose. So if I give you an opportunity as a Canadian a minister or anything, if I give you an opportunity where you can work for a certain period and you need to move back. So however, settling in the country, it is a different part again. You have the pathways where you can select the pathways.
That's
I'm
later.
creating only, yeah.
And that's later. I'm saying in my statement of purpose, see, because these countries also need young talent.
Yes.
So in my statement of purpose, is it better to mention something like, I want to learn this and then I will come back to India and I'll contribute to India this way? Or is it better, yeah, I will learn this and then eventually I will contribute to the Canadian economy. I will settle there and I'll make a life there.
No, you should not mention that you will be contributing to the Canadian economy and anything. But you need to mention that you are not directly mentioning that I will come back after my studies. So I am gaining some skills which will be helpful to develop my country.
Okay. So don't say anything that I will come back or I will stay.
Yes.
Just focus on the skills that you are going to learn. Fair enough. Are there any examples in SOP? Say one mistake is this mistake that I talked about, as you mentioned that you will stay. Are there any other common mistakes or some good points that you have seen in SOPs and you tell your students always include this in your SOP or something like that?
Yeah, coming to the good point as I discussed actually. So you need to prove what are the skills you have been learning in your undergraduation and how you are linking with your master's course over there. So as we discussed earlier also, if I am into EEE and I want to apply for the master's like a computer science engineer, so I cannot give the justification over there. So the content what you are mentioning in your SOP should justify that, and it should be like an impress to the VO that he is on the right path where he will be gaining an knowledge for coming over here, and he will be it will be helpful to any of the nation actually, not only one particular.
Not only one. Yeah. Fair. So let's say you did all this and still your visa gets rejected. How soon can I maybe so my visa got rejected in January 2025.
Okay.
Can I apply again in February, or I'll have to apply next year, or can I make an appeal against it? How does that part work?
So here,
basically, once my visa has been rejected, what should I do after my visa rejection?
So coming to the visa rejection, actually, so the rejection can be happened when VO is not convinced with your statement, or when they are not convinced with your financial documentation or anything. So what I say actually, instead of immediately applying for the visa, so you can apply. There is no rule that you cannot apply immediately. You can apply, but again, so when you apply immediately, your intention shows clearly that you want to move to country anyway and settle over there. So again, there might be chances of rejection, like 80% of the chances and 20% of the success.
Oh, once it has been rejected,
Yes.
if you do immediately, 80% chance of rejection.
So I can say 90% even actually, but
Okay.
so to make it easy, actually what I'm telling is 80% definitely it will be a rejection. You can make a note also. So why? Because just before a week or before a month, I have been rejected this visa. Again, his intention to move. So what are the changes he has made within a month?
So how will so let's say if I'm going to apply for a visa again, will he know I was rejected 1 month ago?
Yes, definitely. When you enter your passport details, definitely they have the history over there. So even if it is rejected in the 10 years back, also it will be applicable in those histories.
So they will always know, okay, it was rejected last year or
Yes.
1 month ago or
Exactly. So I can say big five countries like USA, Canada, Australia, they exchange their this thing actually information when you have rejected the visa actually.
Oh, so if I got rejected by Canada or USA, if I'm applying to UK, they will know that, okay, those countries rejected the visa.
Yes, so most of the people will do the mistake that they will not mention that whether the visa got rejected or not. So
Okay.
when you are applying for the UK, so your US visa got rejected earlier. So there will be a column that any visa rejections you have been in the past. So you need to mention clearly that you got it rejected actually.
Otherwise, I would not mention that. Why should I mention my negatives?
Yes.
But if they are going to know, then it is like lying on the
Exactly.
application.
Exactly.
Okay, interesting.
So recently in the sense, yesterday itself only I got a case actually regarding the UK actually. So they have been applied for the Canadian visit visa. So they got rejected. And they applied for the UK again. Again they got rejected. And this is the third time they applied for the skilled worker visa, not for the visit visa for the UK. So they have mentioned that there is no visa rejections. Even though they got a UK rejection, also they have mentioned no visa rejections. So straightforward, they have been mentioned that they have rejected, and they have been mentioned for 10 years you cannot apply for the visa for the UK again. So that is a big mistake actually. Yeah. So it is in fact better you can say that you got rejected. What is the reason? So that might be a different reason. Now you got a sponsorship when you are applying for the skilled worker visa. You got a sponsorship. You are losing that opportunity, right?
I think this is where the difference in testing and education and visa comes into the picture.
Yeah.
Because as a teacher, I used to say that, okay, take an attempt, maybe just for practice. Your next attempt will be your serious attempt. And I see a lot of students doing that with GMAT also. Yes, it costs money, but your second GMAT score, so suppose your first GMAT score is X and your second GMAT score is X plus 30.
Yeah.
It's not a problem what your previous score was. X plus 30 becomes your main score.
Yes.
But when it comes to visa, you should put in your best effort in your first application itself.
Yes.
That's a very important point. But not everyone is going to do that. Let us say I am a student whose visa has been rejected.
Yeah.
What are some things that I can do now to maybe reapply or appeal or next year so that my chances improve?
Yeah, if you are strong, confident that you have not made any mistake, but your visa got rejected, so you have an option that you can re-appeal. I mean to say that you can go for the administrative appeal or anything. So if you have done a mistake, actually, if you are in a doubt situation, so I suggest better stay calm, think about the visa rejection, why they have been rejected, what are the mistakes you have done, get changes done. Actually, I mean to say that. So you mentioned that you are holding experience for 1.5 years. I'm giving you this example. Most of the people will not do that. Only 1 or 2 will be doing that. So being in a BTech, so in the 4th year, I have got experience for 1 year in the from 4.1 to complete BTech, and I am putting another year experience. So we might got information like so every person cannot work for the full time when you are studying.
Yes.
It is a part time, but you have mentioned the full time. This is a silly mistake. What I say.
Yes.
So even after getting a rejection, you might think that I have been genuine and I have been applied correctly, but the point is not striking you. That you have mentioned that it is a full time or the part time, right? So these are the small mistakes people will be do, but you need to be very cautious while applying for the visa, and you need to be provide each and every information very clearly while filling the DS-160. So DS-160 is nothing but a form where provide you the complete information about your background and your family background and everything. So few people, what they will do, they will mention that actually, so they do not have any family, but his own brother will be studying in the USA.
Okay.
So we will come to know with the surname, actually, his brother is available in USA. So why? Because the father name is same, surname is same.
Understood. Can you give me an example of some student whose visa got rejected first and later he made some changes and it got approved?
So the simple example I can say that, so earlier I have given the example that he has made a mistake, like, so he has provided information that he wanted a full-time employee while studying. So instead of that, he wait for 6 months again. So he realized that he has made a mistake and it has been converted to part-time again. And this 6 months where he worked, he applied as a full-time to fulfill the eligibility criteria and everything.
Okay.
And he made some certain changes that. So as I mentioned, the brother is in USA, but he did not mention in the DS-160. But right now he has mentioned that brother is in USA and everything.
So then it got approved. Yeah. Okay. So his visa was rejected because of 2 mistakes. One was the fact that he was working part-time as a student and he showed that as full-time.
Full-time, yeah.
And he showed that because that was the requirement for the college or the university. Yes. So he was sort of lying.
But he might not think that he is lying actually. His intention that he genuinely worked for the full-time. Why? Because
correct. Because
the college would be only for 1 day or 2 days, right?
Yes. In India, you don't need to go to college every day.
Exactly. But you will not think that actually when he is studying, he is not allowed to work for the full time.
Understood.
So
fair. So that's a great example that not only what you have actually done, you have to think about the perception of the visa officer, how he is going to.
So that is what I clearly mentioned. So when you are going for the interview, so you need to think that BO will not convince with your statement. You need to give the best.
Understood. So this is about the visa rejection and approvals. But what I have been reading in the news is getting visas has become difficult over the last couple of years. There have been changes in some of the immigration rules as well. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes. So coming to this question, actually, I mean to say that there are a lot of changes happening since from the years. Actually, since we see the pandemic. After the pandemic, there are a lot of changes has been done, and they were entering into the other country. The gateway of entering into the other country has made it difficult actually, and so some changes has been helpful to the Indians even actually. What I can say. So I will give you the two examples. When we speak about the USA has been made a change regarding the courses, like adding a lot of courses into the STEM program. So which is advantage to the Indians. So when they opt for the STEM program, they can go for the OPT for 1 year. They can even go for the extension of STEP OTP even. STEP OTP.
What's that?
So over extension of OTP for another 1 or 2 years actually.
What's OTP?
So optional training practice actually, optional practical training actually, where they can work for full time in the OPT. They can go for the internship. They can go for the job opportunity.
Understood. And
so coming to
the immigration changes?
Coming to the immigration changes. So as I discussed actually, after the pandemic, at the time of pandemic for the 2 years, they did not allow any person to any of the countries, right? So
tourist visas were also closed.
When they opened the gate actually, so since they do not have any students over there and the particular for 2 years or 3 years, they have been allowed each and every person and they have been given the visas. So what I can say, it is a big mistake where the immigration department has done, allowing each and every person into the country. They have not analyzed, when we speak about the analyzation, so what happens in the next year. There is overpopulated in the first year itself only. And coming to the second year, due to the overpopulation, they have tightened the rules and everything and they are rejecting the visas.
Short-term thinking can be problematic at times.
Exactly.
And on that particular note, I would like to thank Mr. Vaidya for taking out time explaining all the nitty-gritties of visa applications, immigrations, and how you should think before talking to a visa officer. I believe this episode of Beyond Borders with Handa would have been helpful to any student who is planning to study abroad, because you will need a visa for that purpose. I hope that you learned something from this episode. And if you have any further questions about visa, immigration processes, or anything to do with study abroad, please use the comment section. Let us know and we'll try and answer your queries in the next episode.